What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back. I love that intro music. I don't know what it is. It's something about it. Like, when I hear it, I get jazzed up. I'm ready to get nuts with the boys today. We've got a great show for you guys. We've got Inart news. We've got X06 news. We've got Hot Toys news. Did Hot Toys drop some bombs on us, or are we happy about what we're seeing? I've got OneSixthFigureFocus Shane in the background. I've got Pete from OFAC, and I've got Dean the Dream Martin with me. We're also going to find a little bit out about what Shane has been splurging his money on lately. So hold tight to the show, guys. If you guys are new to the channel, hit the like button for me. Smash the subscribe, especially if you're new, because you don't want to miss the Sunday Let's Get Nuts show. And with that said, of course, let's get nuts.
Come on, let's get nuts.
I give you Ben Thomas.
Showdown.
Here we go.
Alrighty, so without further ado, we have Mr. Dean the Dream Martin from Collecting Weekly here with us first today. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, bud.
Thanks for joining. When I signed into this stream, this is something you don't see in Canada very often, but Dean was literally cleaning one of the biggest handguns I've ever seen. I was like, what are you trying to tell me here, buddy? Like, don't piss Dean off today, okay, folks?
Yeah, I got it in about 15 minutes early, and I was sitting at my desk, and I was like, oh, you know what? I need to clean my gun. I was cleaning up.
My God. I don't know, do you get demonetized if you show it? Like, can you hold it up for the folks out there? Is that allowed? I don't know. Don't point it at anybody. I
think it can actually get your whole channel demonetized.
Okay,
so
we won't do it. But
yeah.
Think of the Rick Grimes gun that he shoots zombie heads off with. That is the gun that this man is cleaning in the background. So don't mess with Dean. Is the story here? Next up, we have Mr. Pete from Only Fools and Collecting, my 90% stream rate British correspondent. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining in.
Yeah, you too, mate. Good to be here as ever, and lovely to stream with Dean, a legend in his own lifetime.
100%.
You're the best.
Yeah. No, I mean, I said in the backstage there that we had some Star Trek news today, and the very first thing Pete said was, "Yeah, but it's the wrong Trek." So it could get a little spicy on the show today, but we'll see how it's going. And then our final guest, of course, we don't get to see him very often because, of course, he is a school teacher who has responsibility in life other than
not for the next 3 months. I don't.
But not for the next 3 months. You love to see it, Mr. Shane, OneSixthFigureFocus, buddy. How are you?
First of all, I like to point out that I think Dean's gun is far much bigger than Rick Grimes' gun from what I've seen.
It looks pretty large.
Just saying.
Let me check. Yeah.
Demonetized. How are you guys? You alright?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's a Sunday. If it wasn't for you today, Shane, I actually think I might have missed Let's Get Nuts. So I went on a little date on Friday night with a girl who not only likes Star Trek, she likes gaming. She likes her ringtone, Pete, was, I'm not kidding, the sound of the transporter pad from Star Trek The Next Generation. I was like, oh my God. Oh my goodness. So I'm pretty excited.
You found yourself a unicorn.
Well, and so I said to her, I was like, I'm happy you are real, because I honestly thought there was a pretty solid chance that I was being catfished. And she was like, yeah, can you imagine if I was like, like a little Filipino man when you arrived? And I was like, to be honest, as long as you talked some Star Trek with me, I probably would have still enjoyed it. But yeah, so she liked me enough to accept a second date, which is pretty cool. So tonight we are going to see Across the Spider-Verse, and I've been going to movies by myself for like 6 years, so I'm just excited to have somebody to talk to the movie about immediately after the fact. So today we're going to keep it a little bit shorter, nice and tight, tight nut. Yeah, I don't know, but it's gonna be a good show.
You share too much, man. You're sharing too much.
No, we're good. It's my show. If I get myself canceled, I have nobody else to blame. Shane, I want to start with your segment first, buddy, because the other day when you were like, hey, I can jump on the stream, and it's been one of those times a year where the focus splurge has happened. So tell us what you bought yourself recently, good sir.
Yeah, I kind of, I lost the run of myself. I think in the last few days and weeks. I really did. So, obviously, if anyone's been watching my channel, I picked up my first CCFL at the same time as I had the DX23 come in. Now, DX23 was paid off already, but together, the combination of the two of them, that was one of those figures I knew I'd like, but I didn't realize how much I'd like. I just the head sculpt, the tailoring, the posability on it, the under suit, even the cloak drapes very well. And as soon as I paired it with the CCFL, I was like, oh my god! And I had it wired up as best I could to hide as many wires as I could. I was like, right, I'm in. And at the same time, then some fusion reactors came in. Now I had these paid off already, but now that the floodgate is open, this is, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but so there's I'm just going to list them off. I'm just going to rhyme off what happened. Like, so this is, I had to check myself today and had a little kind of, cop yourself on moment. So I went back to the guy I got the fusion reactors off, and I ordered a kit for the Battle Damage 85, a kit for the Mark 47, the DX13i. He does a small one just for the eye, because I picked up the DX13. I want that eye lit up. The eye for cable. So that's the fusion reactors out of the way. Then, after having Dean Knight on the show, and him describing his best way to put together the best Batman Begins, I think I'm going to have to go back on myself and actually try and build this. I said I wouldn't. I said I'd wait until another company did it. Maybe Inart do it, but when will that be? Like, you know what I mean? Hot Toys aren't going to do a 3.0, and I can't even get the 2.0 right. So I'm thinking, when will I ever get that then if I don't actually go and build it? Like, so Jackson Jew just recently put up for pre-order on 1/6 kit his head sculpt from Batman Begins with 2 swap-out mouth plates. I gotta say, it looks pretty impressive, and it is actually a lot more affordable compared to some other offerings. So I put the pre-order in with 1/6 kit for the Jackson Jew Batman Begins cowl with the 2 interchangeable mouth plates. Of course, then I had to find a cape, so I went and ordered OT Customs cape. That shipped yesterday. The DX13 belt is it's famous for flaking, falling apart, which, like, my one has a little bit of a peel on it already. So I had instantly gone and got one of them as well. So that's another $40. Like, a lot of these things, they're not that expensive individually, but when you add up, they
Death
do
by
add up to
1,000
beans
cuts.
and toast for a few weeks. Bespin Luke was on my wish list. As soon as that came out, I contacted Lion Rock Toys, and I just paid it off because I hadn't even got a deposit on that. Yeah. So beans and toast it is. That's out of character for me now. But
I was going to ask,
it was
like,
the little cuts.
Do the school teachers get like an extra bonus at the end of the year right before
No,
summer?
they definitely do not. The bonus is that you get the holidays, man. So it's
How come
beans
you
and
guys
toast.
finished so early in Ireland?
Farming, and that's actually not a joke.
Really?
The history comes from, like, the harvest season obviously was when, Ireland's weather is notoriously terrible. We've had the last week or two of absolute glorious weather, and we just soaked that up. But generally our summer lasts 2 to 3 days tops when it doesn't actually rain. But when the weather is a bit drier in June, July and August, traditionally the sons and daughters of the farmers would have to go, and they wouldn't go to school because they'd help with the harvest. So eventually, over time, traditionally realised, okay, it's better actually if we just stop school for these drier months, so that, they basically got with the program and realised that people aren't going to come to school because the farming is more important to livelihood. So that's why essentially we've 3 months off.
Wow, okay.
Interesting.
God bless farming.
Do you have shorter holidays through the rest of the year, or do you just get the bonus of having an extra?
No, I'm pretty sure
summer?
Irish teachers' holidays, secondary school teachers, have the best holidays in the world.
Yeah.
Because
Sounds
we've
like a
got
good gig,
3
man.
months off. 3 months off for summer, a week off in October midterm, a week off in February, 2 weeks of Christmas, 2 weeks at Easter, and a few bank holidays thrown in there.
It's
Like,
the same as the UK.
but the
obviously-
flip side is it's like a 9-month wage spread out over 12 months, which is fair enough.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So they don't pay you over the 3 months.
Hence
Well,
all the
you
credit
do-
cards in the summer here.
You do get paid for the summer, but like it's It's
Yeah.
if you get
You're
meter
getting paid
salary
for-
spread out
You're
over.
getting paid for 9 months' work, basically.
Exactly.
across
Yeah.
a year.
Essentially.
I noticed
But
as soon as you said farming, Dean looked like he almost fell asleep there.
I
He's
know,
cleaning his
it-
gun. He doesn't care about vegetables or farming. So
No,
Texas, there's so many farms down here.
I'm just teasing you.
he heard Star Trek. That's what it was.
That's right. It was a pre-nap.
I appreciate that, Shane. I learned something today. Thank you.
For sure.
Thanks.
So did
Come
you
back
order
next week.
just to go on your list? Did you order the CCFL for the Bespin Luke then?
I did, yeah. I have it all set up, so yeah.
You've gone down. How do you find like the plugs to plug all those in? That's my question. Like when people have that many, like do you get like is it just is it a power bar? How do you? I must be. I don't understand where you plug all these in.
That is a great question, and it just so happens I left one thing off that list. I also bought an adapter because I don't want my house to burn down, and
Good call.
I had a basic. It was a plug that goes into the wireless smart plug, and then there was 2 plug sockets on it, and there were no USBs, and there's no surge protection. So I was like, okay, I need to get something with surge protection at the very least. So I got rid of that. I got an adapter with a shorter cord because the one I had was 4 meters, unnecessary, and it has 4 plugs on it, 2 USBs. So basically, what you do is you plug the adapter into the smart plug because your app just powers the smart plug. Then you plug whatever you want into the 4 plug sockets in the adapter. Like, there's one plug for a hub for the Luke lights. Then there's another plug per CCFL, and then that has some USBs. So the USB hubs are the way to go because, like, I have a USB hub with 10 USBs on it, and only 5 are taken up with the Luke lights. So you still have spaces and stuff like that. But
Okay, because I've been interested in going down that route, but I was like, I don't have many more plugs to actually give up. So that's cool. That's good to know.
surge protection.
Shane, I counted up my CCFLs before the show. 16 I'm at now.
Oh my god,
my
that's
God.
amazing. But that probably looks so good though. Like, dude, you got to do a collection tour at some point. We
Yeah,
have to
I
see
know.
what's
I wanna
behind
see
the
that.
curtain here.
I keep
I
meaning
wanna
to
see
do
that.
it.
I mean, I have almost nothing behind me, so I can't even solidify myself as a collector right now. But
more
I
than
don't.
the last show, so
That's more than the last show. I treated myself on the birthday, so I just kept it. I haven't packed it yet. And then one last thing that you mentioned there, Shane, the Jackson Jew head sculpt. I got one of the Jackson Jew capes about 2 years ago for my DX12 Batman. And it was easily one of the best purchases I've ever made. The difference for that figure between the stock cape to what you got from him, amazing. And I would honestly recommend his service. He was really good. He was very communicative with me. It did take a while, I will say, to get it. I think it was about 4 months before I got it in hand, so it was a long wait time. But it was 100% worth it.
And I have the DX19 there. Alan, the 6-scale gallery. He tells himself, he goes, I'm a bit addicted to buying capes. He bought a Jackson Jew and a Tony May, and because the Tony May was a bit better, he sent me the Jackson Jew for free, no reason. Just goes, look, I'm not using this. I know how much you love that. It will elevate the figure. And the stock cape for the DX19, as far as the capes go, is actually pretty good. But yeah, you're right. The Jackson Jew, it just hangs so much better.
1000%, man. Before we continue, we've got 26 people already in the chat. Thanks for joining, guys. I definitely appreciate y'all here. If you can hit the like button just to gain some traction on the show, it always helps. Let's check in with who's here, though. So we got Tyria. He says, Shane sent me. Heard there's a great show in approximately 7 minutes. We are already here, but good to see you, buddy. We've got Chedwin Medolia. Now, this is we've seen you a few times here now on Sundays. Thanks for coming back, buddy. We've got Thalia Meyer here. Hey, everyone. Eddie Rodriguez. What's up, folks? How's it going? We've got X-Men Supreme. Hey. We've got Thor Gaming, my brother from Ontario here. Good to see you, buddy. We've got Andre. Hey, everyone. Good to see you here, buddy, too. King Dingaling. Of course, a live stream would not be a live stream without King Dingaling. He actually messaged me on Instagram the other day, and it got stuck in like my private messages, and I was like, who the hell is this? Did not recognize the name. Thankfully, he was smart enough to be like, by the way, it's King Dingaling. I was like, okay, I'll accept the invite then. So we've got 12-inch Moose Dream here. Says, hello, community of collectors. I just saw the Spider-Man for the second time since Friday. I can't wait to see it today for multiple reasons, of course. We've got City Rider here. Greetings, everyone. We've got Dammit Spock, of course, one of my friends of Star Trek out in the world. Where did you find this mythical woman? I will not share that, just in case. You never know. I don't want to jinx myself. Andre Corey says, red flag, Ben, red flag. She is catfishing the Trek out of you. As soon as you get involved, it's only romantic comedies allowed and the collection reduced. Jeez, can you imagine? I freaking hope not. We got Ryan Smith here. Hey, fellas. We've got Community Arcade. Hello, friends. We've got Gotham Cenobites. Hey, guys. Good to see everybody. And we've got, of course, the great Mark P. What's up, panel and chat? I'm sure there'll be a few more people joining in. I will say hello to those folks as they come in. Guys, I treated myself on my birthday here last week. And, I should be probably trying to save money.
I treat myself like almost every night. That's crazy. You waiting for your birthday?
I didn't know there's an After Dark section of Sunday Let's Get Nuts, but we'll do a post show for 13 minutes. We'll dive into that, Dean. I got myself the Matrix Neo from Hot Toys. And I have to say, this is a figure I've wanted since probably since I started collecting, and it's not even that old. But when it came out in 2018, I obviously just completely missed it. It was either I didn't have the money at the time, or I just wasn't searching as hard as I am now, considering I have my own channel and I like to talk about this stuff weekly, of course. But Dean, I want to start with you real quick. Have you ever found a figure, either like Facebook Marketplace or at a store or even online, that you thought you'd never find, but you ended up being able to get it anyways, like I did with this Neo?
Yeah, I missed the pre-order for the original Hot Toy Short Trooper, and it almost immediately went up in price quite a bit. Not to like its immediate heights, but it was pretty fast. And I was like, damn, that sucks, because I really like the look of the Short Trooper. And I kind of just forgot about it, and then I went into a local comic book store and they had it for retail, and I was like, it's mine. So that one was nice. I remember that fondly.
That's awesome. What about you, Pete? Any standouts?
Yeah, this one will probably hurt Dean, but Tarkin. I know it's a
Fair
figure that he's after. Yeah, I mean the price of that went ridiculous, and I was looking for them, and I kind of had an idea what I was prepared to pay, but a lot of them had, the glue was coming off on the magnet on his tunic, and there'd been some really bad repair jobs. So I was kind of like thinking, well, you're not quite if you buy a used one, you're not really quite sure what you're going to get.
Somebody's dribbled glue all over their shoulders, sort of thing.
Definitely.
My God. Yeah.
And they're sort of knock £10 off. Price reflects damage, kind of thing. Not really. And I was just lucky to find some guy, I think in Belgium, and he had like the 2-pack, the Vader and the Tarkin. He said he bought it, new. He only wanted it for the Vader, and the Tarkin had just sat in the box. So basically, I got him brand new for probably not a lot more than he was when he first came out. I mean, that was an absolute touch. So, yeah, Tarkin,
that's a decent
definitely.
one. And sorry, you said that was a 2-pack. Did they ever do a Tarkin single?
There was a Tarkin Vader 2-pack.
Yeah, I remember that.
He wanted the Vader, and he just left Tarkin. Never came out of the box.
That's amazing.
So
Bloody
amazing.
That's amazing. What about you, Shane? Any standouts in the collection? Anything that you're like, I thought I'd never get this, and now I have it?
Yeah, I done a bit of working backwards over the last year or two, but I mean, I don't see the point in working backwards if something's like $1,000. You know what I mean? It's like, no, like we're not the reissue zone we're in here, but
yeah, you're not.
Take a look at things like I got T800 Terminator here, and I got that on a website in Ireland. I go on about a lot called adverts.ie, basically like an eBay only there was no fees. It's a bit like Wild West, but $370 shipped. Things brand new, like, and I knew they were out there.
Yeah,
there's a chase figure, but they're out there for a lot more than that. Another one as well is the Ben Kenobi from original trilogy, $300 shipped.
Wow,
that's probably the best deal I ever got.
I got
damn
Obi-Wan A New Hope. It was loose, and it only had the saber arm, so nothing else, but it had the lightsaber. $150.
That is bloody cheap.
I was so stoked. Some guy just had it like in a box, and he was
That's
like,
insane.
"You want it?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude."
Shane, I thought you were gonna say your RoboCop in chair. Actually, that was one that I was thinking you might throw out
the
there.
The thing about that is like the base price and it was good, but even to get it over was another 100. So all in, it was kind of like, it was not like a crazy price. Like they go for city prices on eBay, but I know a lot of things go city price on eBay. But it was just like not, if I got it shipped for 500, I'd be like definitely saying that. But because I had to pay another like 100 for shipping,
Pay a little bit of a premium
it's
in there.
just a little. But that's something that I didn't lose a bit of sleep over. Like,
I don't know about you guys. Every time I buy something a little bit backwards like that, even just like this Neo, I half expect to wake up literally the next day and they've reissued it. I didn't overpay for this one. It was about, for my favorite number, 420 Canadian, which is about 380, originally for the Canadian dollar. So only about $40 more than what I would have paid retail, 5 years ago. Yeah. So pretty decent for me. I noticed this comment here. I just wanted to quickly say something. So Gotham Cenobite says, speaking of Trek, I'm finally in the middle of Picard. Don't know why all the negative. I'm enjoying season 1. So I didn't hate season 1. It was, I thought, relatively good overall. I would have given it like a 7 out of 10. Season 2, I couldn't finish. I got about a quarter of the way through, and as big of a Trek fan as I am, I just was not enjoying it. And so when season 3 was announced, I was very much like, I don't know if I'm going to care. And then season 3 absolutely blew me away. It was, as I said, in my heart of hearts, it feels like the season 8 of Star Trek: The Next Generation that we never got.
So
it's awesome.
Do you not plan to go back?
I don't think I need to. The
you don't need to, no. But I think, without watching season 1 and the last episode at least, you miss a massive plot point. I mean, do they tell you? I mean, without spoiling it for anyone, I don't know if you just watch season 3 whether you actually know what's happened to Picard.
You wouldn't, but it's not. I don't think a big enough part of the story. I guess
it's not, but it's a massive, it's a major sort of twist, isn't it?
You're not wrong. Anytime there's a season 3, you're gonna obviously, if you can get through it, watch all of it. Q is in season 2. I don't think that's spoiling anything.
Season 3 was 20 times better than either of the other two.
For sure.
I didn't mind season 2 because at least you started to get some of the other next gen casting as well, and Will Riker was in it a fair bit and stuff. But 3 was one of the best seasons of Star Trek ever.
For sure. I guess point is that like if you're having a hard time getting through season 2, still watch season 3. Either way, like still skip to it if you're having a hard time like I did. Now my buddy Marco, of course, is not here from 16Fix today, but he sent me this in my show sheet chat the other day, and I don't know if he thought. He said, I thought Ben would think it was cool. I think he thinks it's pretty cool. I don't really know what this is, other than the fact that I know what it is. It's a Hasbro Megazord from Power Rangers. I would think it would be Mighty Morphin Power Rangers based on the aesthetic of the suit. I think this is pretty cool. I don't know if this is for you guys at all. This is not something that I would buy, but because, of course, I appreciate the fact that Marco even thought of me, I wanted to bring it up in the show sheet chat. Does anybody in the chat think that they may get this Megazord? Are you guys Power Ranger fans? I would love to hear from you guys. Anybody in the panel? Is this something that would kind of strike your fancy at all, or are you're going to skip on Power Rangers for the most part?
I'm a good 10 years too old for Power Rangers. I have seen it, and it's absolutely batshit crazy. But I don't know anything about it, and I certainly don't collect it. But yeah.
I grew up loving Power Rangers, and I had all the toys when I was a kid. I've never felt the need to go back and collect Power Ranger stuff. It kind of shocks me actually, because I used to love it so much, but yeah, it's not a rabbit hole I want to start going down.
That's fair. Anything for you, Shane, at all, or you're like, no, that's a skip for me?
No, I don't think I've ever watched an episode. I think I was just a bit too old, as in my teenage years, or maybe thereabouts when it came on TV. And I just always got the impression that this was bigger among American kids as opposed to, say, Ireland, UK, Europe. Maybe I'm completely wrong about that. I just felt that maybe it captured the American audience a bit more than it captured, say, the Irish audience or maybe the UK audience. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
No, that totally makes sense. It would have been Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to me. If I was going to collect any of the Ranger series, I think it would be that. Turbo was, I think, probably the next closest that I at least enjoyed, and then I think I aged out of it a little bit. So, but we have another special guest in the wings. I didn't think he was coming. Thankfully, he put a shirt on because he would put me to shame. If he didn't. So we've got Mr. Austin Nicholas here joining us for Let's Get Nuts. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for.
Hey guys, sorry I'm
Austin.
late. Sorry I'm late. It's a bit of a busy day.
Yeah, no worries, buddy. Good to see you. Can you turn your gain down just a little bit if you can? Just a slight bit. I don't know how to do that. I'm not the Oxfather. If he was here, he'd probably know how to do it on his own terms.
do it
But
for you.
This man cannot turn his gains down.
that's true.
Come on, man. That does not happen.
Think about what you just asked, Ben.
Yeah.
Sorry, Austin. He's new.
No, that's good. That's good. You still sound crispy either way, buddy. So if you can't figure it out, we'll just tweak you a little bit here. So, let's move on because we've got still a pretty large show sheet. So, X06, the developer and engine, teased this on his Facebook the other day, and this is of course the Ferengi Quark head sculpt from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Now, I'm not a huge Deep Space Nine fan. I would say that for me, my order of priority when I'm thinking Star Trek is usually Star Trek The Next Generation. Either the original series would be second, or Voyager, because it's very nostalgic for me. They're kind of tied for second place. Then it would be Deep Space Nine, and then I think probably Enterprise after that point. Picard Season 3, while as much of it as I enjoyed, I don't think it can overtake some of those other series for me. But we've seen a really big influx and deflux of quality, I feel like, from X06 lately. You know, a few weeks ago, I teased that Harry Kim saying that it looked like sculpted butter. It just didn't look good. But this looks friggin' awesome. So, Pete, I want to start with you first. Are you a Deep Space Nine fan, and does this get your juices flowing when it comes to the X06 release?
I did get into Deep Space Nine. I think to start, like again with a lot of them, the early first couple of seasons were a bit weak and they didn't really feel cohesive. But I think of all the series for me, it had the most. You know, as it got through to the later season, it had a real plot thread running through it, and I did really get into Deep Space Nine. Not to the extent that I would collect any figures from them, because to me, you know, I grew up with the original cast, and that to me will always be the ones that I want to collect. But as I say, DS9 was brilliant, and I think in terms of like the final season was brilliant. Quark's a fantastic character. Is this one? Did he go out for pre-order quite a while ago? Is this kind of like a production photo?
It was. It was.
Yeah.
It was. I want to say at least 6 months ago now, maybe a little less.
He looks fantastic. I mean, that's spot on. That is, if that's what.
Even the outfit Nanjim teased for like the material types and like the color choices in the outfit, like I would say very, very good. It makes me wonder why the Star Trek Voyager line has been so soft, because for a lot of what we've seen from the DS9 line has been pretty good. The Cisco people are getting him in hand at the moment, and loving him. And we've got a few more to look at here too. But Austin, I think a few weeks ago when you were here, you had said you weren't a huge Star Trek fan. But I guess in terms of objectively as a figure, if you look at this, are you like, that still looks cool? Or are you kind of just like not interested based on the fact that you don't love the property?
Yeah, so hopefully this isn't blasphemy, but
Nope,
yeah,
that's better.
I never got into Star Trek, really. But, you know, objectively, just like looking at this, it looked fantastic. Like, sculpt's great. Like, I can tell, I know who the character is.
For sure.
Without being a big fan or having not seen many of the movies or the show. Yeah, I think it looks great.
Absolutely. Dean, I know you used to watch Star Trek with I think you said your dad when you were younger?
Yeah.
But I think you had said you were more of a next-gen guy at the time.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this Ferengi?
I've always thought Ferengis were the coolest fucking, you know, because I was more of a Star Wars guy, and the aliens are always like the really cool things on screen. And Ferengis are like the most alien. I guess maybe Klingons too, to some extent, but Ferengis like extra, and I always love seeing Ferengis on screen. This is awesome. I like this. It's exactly how I picture a Ferengi in my head, so I love it. I think it looks great.
Well, and with the exception of Q, I think the Ferengi may have been one of the first villains that Star Trek: The Next Generation actually showed in their like original run of episodes. Fact check me if I'm wrong, Star Trek fans out there.
Yeah, were Ferengis even in the original Star Trek show?
I think they were featured initially in the Next Generation.
Next
That's
Generation.
when they
Okay,
that's when they
what
were highlighted.
That's what I thought.
And I would say that despite this looking exactly like Quark, I feel like as just a species of Ferengi in the collection, you could also have it shoot in. It doesn't have to feel like it's from Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, I don't want to
which is
sound
pretty cool.
racist or anything, but Ferengis all kind of look the same to me.
that's a little specious, I think, maybe, if anything. So,
Ben likes them. Ben likes them because they speak English.
well, I like. Unbelievable.
That was
Sorry,
good.
Ben.
Holy shit.
I watch Collecting Weekly every single Wednesday morning. I told you this. Nothing safe. Nothing safe.
I'm never gonna live that down. Yeah, I'm never gonna live that down. For those who don't know what the heck he's talking about, go back and watch some Collecting Weekly Tuesday episodes. I tend to put my foot in my mouth there way too often, and yeah, here at least I can scrub it out of my own show if I want to. So, next we saw this extremely blurry image of Chief O'Brien, also from DS9, but you could also fit him in, of course, with your Star Trek: The Next Generation collection. I won't go through the panel.
Con Air.
Or Con Air? I didn't know he was in Con Air.
Yeah, he's
Or
the
Die Hard.
FBI.
I don't think he's in Die Hard. I don't think he's in Die Hard.
He's in Die Hard 2. He flies a plane. This is Colomini.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Oh
yeah.
my
guy's
god,
Irish.
now I gotta go
That's-
back.
That's the dude
He's-
from.
What?
He's also the voice of Wreck-It Ralph. This is John C.
yeah,
Reilly,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Wait.
He's
What
in
is his-
Con Air. He's the FBI guy. He steals his car at the end. That it's
Yeah.
like a AC Cobra or something, isn't it? A silver one.
Yeah. Fair enough. This reminds me of one of those photos I try and take of my collection with my iPhone after I've had like greasy
In
poutine.
portrait mode.
In portrait mode.
You, like,
What the
can't
hell?
get
Why does
the-
this not look sharp at all?
No, I swear to God.
Yeah.
Wait, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say, what's going on with this? That one looks thinner and more tanned than the one on the right. I don't get what
It's the screen coloration versus the movie version, maybe, or something. I don't know. Who
Yeah,
knows?
that's taking it.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Taking it far. It's a
I
stretch.
the second you pulled this photo up, I was like, "Oh, it's John C. Reilly," and then I was like, "Wait a minute."
I can see that.
Colomini is his name.
Yeah.
He's Irish. He's in a load of Irish films.
Joker J says, what do you say? He looks like Jeremy
Jeremy
Benthal. Yeah, 100%. Then we saw this tease as well. So again, lots of teases from Exo 6 right now. This is, of course, Shren from Enterprise, and he is part of the Andorian race. And I always want to say Andalorian, as in Mandalorian, for whatever reason. In fact, even in my preview video of this on the Ben Thomas Show, when I talked about it, I called him the Andalorian, I think 3 different times. Thankfully, nobody called me out on it. But this looks pretty good. I think the coloration of the skin looks pretty decent. I do think that the antenna on the top are put back a little bit too far. I think that they should be a little bit farther forward on his head. But I think it's an absolute pass as an Andorian species. The Andorians are one of the founding member species of the Federation of Planets. And they helped to really make Star Trek what it became over the years in terms of a federation. So I think it's a cool thing to have, even if you don't love necessarily the Enterprise line. Similar, like with what we were saying with the Ferengi.
Is he a member of the crew then? I'm not familiar with Enterprise.
No.
I didn't really get.
No, so there's an aspect of the series where they have to meet him and do negotiations to try and stop another species.
My issue with the whole thing is, yeah, we've got this guy, but where the hell's all the original series stuff, and where's the rest of the Next Generation crew? I feel like Nanjin's just dicking about a bit.
They're skipping around
sometimes.
quite a bit. There is
Yeah.
there is quite a bit of skipping around.
And
You're not
how
wrong.
many units of this guy they're going to shift? Probably not a lot.
I don't know. It's hard to say because when I did the preview video, it was one of my most watched videos. So it was a lot. In my preview video, I did a whole history in that video of the Andorian species and how they connect with the Federation and kind of their history. So if you guys are interested in that, feel free to go back to that and check it out. I don't want to bore anybody to death because I know not everybody here is a Star Trek fan. But Austin, again, same question, buddy. Is this something that you would fit into, like, even maybe, can you imagine I'm saying this, a Star Wars collection? Just as have another alien species floating around? Or are you like, no?
Yeah, it wouldn't tickle my fancy. But, if someone had that in theirs, and they're like, hey, yeah, this is actually part of Star Wars, I don't think I would. I'm not well versed enough to say otherwise.
That would be so funny. Can you imagine? I think I should buy this just to troll people and see what they say.
Just say he was in the cantina.
That's right. That's it. Yeah, he was drinking at the bar. And
They'd
you
be
didn't
like,
see him?
"Oh
What the hell?"
yeah, I remember that."
That'd be a great way to figure out which of your friends are full of shit or not. Like,
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
so yeah.
Definitely.
That's right. One last one from Exo6 before we move on
C-3PO.
here. Not C-3PO, but I can see why you would think so. This is, of course, Odo, who is a changeling from Deep Space Nine, and a unique character, definitely like an awesome actor, awesome character in the show.
Great character.
Nanjin and the developer over at Exo6 teased us these. So I was a little bit confused by this solicitation photo or this tease photo, because on the left it looks like what we're going to potentially get is a changeling version of Odo. But then on the right, he's shown what his outfit's going to look like, and you can see a little bit of his mouth plate there, or head sculpt anyways, that looks like a pretty standard version. So what do you guys think? Like, do you think this is just Nanjin messing with people a little bit? I want to hear from the chat too. Do you guys think he's messing with us, or do you think we're going to get actually two representations of this character at some point?
Yeah.
Potentially a changeling version, and,
That's what I'd
and a
hope.
standard.
Because that just needs to be a solid piece of plastic.
That's
You
true.
know,
Yeah.
It's not something that you would pay a lot of money for, but if that came in this as like a as a two piece, then yeah, I think that'd be good.
I think this looks like something Zach from Collecting Weekly could do, like a print
Yeah.
job for me of. You know what I mean? It almost looks like it's just been resin printed all
Yeah,
the way down,
yeah.
And painted a standard color. So I don't know. MB Dyson says, and it's good to see you here, buddy. By the way, Odo, yes, but who knows? Joker J says silly putty guy for sure. MB Dyson also says, I'm a Star Trek fan, and the order of release from Exo6 does not line up at all with my figure priorities. And that's something that I think that is the biggest
All
takeaway.
over the place.
Right?
Yeah.
I think I've seen a lot of Star Trek people already, including guys like Denobi, who talks a lot about Star Trek. He's been quickly pulling out of Exo6 line altogether because he's felt that roller coaster of quality. He said, like, to me specifically, like, I'm out. I don't think I'm getting what I want, and I'm not. It's taking too long to complete a line, so I'm going to, just like MB Dyson said, put those
I don't
figure
know.
dollars
Sounds like
somewhere
a
else.
tap out excuse to me.
Oh, there you go. And I mean, maybe you're right. That's hard to say. Even me though, I had a couple of them on order, and I've canceled a few because I really like that 7 of 9, but I also don't love the rest of that Voyager line. So for me, I'm like, I'm not going to collect it. It's too soft. But I don't know. When it comes to figure priorities and dollars, I think something that we are feeling very spoiled for. And like Austin, when I think about you and your collection, you've got a vast collection. In fact, I saw a picture not too long ago on, I think it was your Facebook, of you trying to sort through your collection and build your displays and everything. When it comes to your figure dollars, if you're waiting too long for something you're anticipating, do you just say screw it and go buy something else? Or will you still kind of hold off and wait for those things?
Like, I guess in the sense of like one certain character. So like, let's say like that Present Toys Blade. I don't know when that's supposed to come out or anything else, but I'm fine with waiting. I'm not going to purchase another Blade figure like via secondhand, or if another company were to drop one tomorrow, unless it was significantly better, I wouldn't feel obligated to get that. But just figures in general, oh yeah, I'll buy them every day as long as they fit the collection, as long as I like them.
That's awesome. Did you get some of your smaller scale stuff sold and donated and stuff like that as well?
Yeah, got a bit sold, donated quite a bit. I actually just sold my old dinner table from my house because we have Rachel's here, and the guy and his son who was buying it, they in the garage they saw like I had some like action figures out there, and they're like, oh, do you like superheroes? I'm like, yeah, I collect some action figures and stuff. They're like, oh, he loves Iron Man, and he's like, I'm a big Hulk guy. So we started talking, and I gave them both. I gave the kid a 1/9 scale Iron Man statue, and then him a 1/4 scale Hulk statue.
That's awesome, dude. I'm gonna start calling you like Robin Hood or something.
My thing is like the 1/4 scale Hulk sounds like really awesome or whatnot, but it was like this one I bought in Mexico that someone hand painted and done. Like, it was cool, it's neat, but I'm sure they get more value out of that versus me selling them for a smaller amount, which I just dislike the selling portion. That's why I'm
Absolutely.
just trying to do it all local.
100%, dude. That's the right way to go, for sure. Dammit Spock here says Odo may have the half body morphing out of the floor. That could actually be pretty cool as a setup. Also says here, I've waited nearly 10 years for C-3PO. Exo-6 are warping through figures. And I would agree with that to a certain extent. I think that some of these releases feel like they should have been baked in the oven a little bit longer, though. I would rather wait a little bit longer for it to be a release as good as that C-3PO diecast that we got, as opposed to seeing the molded butter Harry Kim that we recently got. Like, I would rather wait longer. But I would also really hope that Exo-6 going forward maybe provides us a bit better of their plan. They've shown us some charts of what could come and what may come throughout specific months, but those timelines keep changing, and it feels really difficult to predict what my collection may look like. Whereas other releases, I know Hot Toys doesn't give us that either, but I also know that the figure lines that they traditionally give us are really pretty standard to what is most popular right now. So, like, for example, if I go see Spider-Verse tonight, I'm probably going to pre-order one of those figures. You know what I mean? If I go see Flash Batman next week, Flash and Batman, I'm probably going to get those figures. So, yeah, I can predict my collection better. With Star Trek, it feels like they're just kind of, like Pete said, giving us one here and there. Well, like, Shran is a cool character, but why Shran? Why not another, like, OG Kirk and Spock, or a Bones, or, like, some of those, right? A Scotty, like, some of the staples out there. So, guys, let's move on, because I don't want to lose folks that aren't Star Trek fans here. We got this teased from Mars Toys. And I've said before, I love Mars Toys and their Facebook page, because I feel like every day, and it's not every day, obviously, but it feels pretty often that I can go to their page and they've teased something else that's pretty cool. Now, this is, of course, Julie Newmar as Catwoman from the 66 Batman television show. Dean, I'm going to start with you, because I know you're not the biggest Batman fan, but in terms of the 66, if you're thinking back to that series, is it the Julie Newmar that stands out to you as a Catwoman in that collection, or would you rather have gone with somebody like an Eartha Kitt? What are your thoughts?
I guess when I think of the 60s Batman, I think of Eartha Kitt. But I don't dislike that. I think that's pretty sweet. I think it's the Batwoman from that show that has like a likeness issue with like dishing out her likeness. So I don't know anything about this character, so
That's fair. I've seen people say that this is a little soft. Even some folks in the chat right now saying, the one on the left, not so great. Obviously, it's a render. They're still working on it. In fact, I actually saw Mars Toys comment in this Facebook post to say, it's still in the oven. Like, it's still working on it. I still think it looks pretty good, though. I like that they've given her kind of the wild eyebrows, like she has. And, like, the nose and some of the mouth area there, I see it. I think that the ears are pointed a little too far forward based on kind of what she looks like in her actual real-life picture on the right. But same question for you, Pete. If you were going to collect the 66 line, would you go with a figure like Julie Newmar, or would you rather see an Eartha Kitt from them?
I think it'd be good to have both, because obviously, Eartha Kitt, again, was another one of those kind of strong pioneers, like Uhura, a black female actress, a strong character and everything. So it'd be brilliant to have both. But I think for me, it is Julie Newmar. But again, it's. I think we're all too young to have watched this the first time around, maybe even the second time around. So I did used to watch it a lot, but I'm not like a massive. I'm not really an expert. I didn't know there were 3 Catwomen, to be honest. But this is probably more iconic for me if I was collecting this line. So yeah.
Even I forgot that there was 3, to be honest, now that you say that. And 12-inch Moose Stream highlights that here as well. Let us know what that third one is. I forget, 12-inch. I forget what the third one was. Sorry, Pete, to cut you off.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I think the sculpt looks okay, maybe a little soft. Coming back from Star Trek, I'm getting a bit of a Jadzia Dax vibe there as well.
I can see that. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no,
so
100%.
they can get together with Exo and save him a bit of time. Yeah,
they save him some time. That's awesome. I wish Exo-6 would do this kind of rendering more often, though, and show us kind of what it looks like as a render before they show us what like a a solicitation pre-order figure looks like. I think that could be cool. Give us an opportunity as collectors to maybe give some feedback. Shane, are you a 66 Batman fan? Or I know you're a huge Dark Knight fan.
Like, it's this simple. I'm too young to have watched the first time, but my first exposure to Batman was probably watching the reruns on a Saturday morning, like a lot of people, with the bam whap pow and all that.
100%.
And like, it's stood the test of time now that it's cemented itself into pop culture one way or another. But the only two figures that I would actually get would be Batman and Robin, the Hot Toys ones, or if they do a 2.0, they're the only ones I'd entertain. So as much as that Mars 66 Joker could be figure of the year, I still wouldn't get it, and therefore I wouldn't get this. But the sculpt, you compared you had the image on the left in the previous slides was the actual sculpt, and the image on the right was a photo, I presume, of the actress.
Of the actress, yeah.
So just for me there, it doesn't look all the way there. I'd have to see a few more angles personally, but I won't be getting it anyway, so maybe I'm biased.
You brought up an interesting point, because with that Joker being what people have deemed to be one of the figures of the year, as a collector, that fear of Austin, I mean, amazing.
Just got it in.
That fear of missing out on that figure because it's so good is really difficult for me to get past. But because the 66 versions don't resonate with me in the same way as the 89 or the Dark Knight or even further, I feel like I feel like I would be a fake fan to buy it and put it in my collection if I don't love it. At the same time, as a figure collector and as somebody that can appreciate the art of a figure, I'm like, how can I miss it? So, I mean, Austin, you just got that Joker in hand. That's amazing. Are you hoping to build out the line of 66 then, or are you going to kind of stick with just the Joker because it's so good?
Yeah, so I can't say that I actually watched much of the 66 show. You know, I caught episodes growing up and whatnot, but that wasn't necessarily like my Batman that I gravitated towards, right? But I don't know, maybe like a year ago, and I forget which third-party company came out with this, but maybe the chat will know. They came out with a 66 Batman and Robin for pre-order, and I forget which company it was. I have those on pre-order, and when this came out, I was like, oh, you know, I love the look.
Saturn Toys, I think it was.
Saturn Toys.
It was Saturn Toys, yeah, which I'm pretty certain is owned by Mars Toys.
That's what Bretta told me, or Joao Bretta.
Yeah, I mean that's what a lot of companies do. They'll make those subsidiary companies because of either they're going with a different company that creates the figure itself, so they're not too certain of the quality and they don't want it to affect the main brand. But anyway, I had those on pre-order, and when this got released, I was like, oh man, like I'm a fan of the Joker. I'm a fan of Batman. Not necessarily that particular show, but just like you said, Ben, I'm an action figure collector. I love Batman, and this is another like iteration of those characters. So now I wanted them in my collection. So
100%, dude. I totally get that. It's weird that Mars Toys has like a planet theme going on there. I'm gonna wait for like a Pluto Toys Dean the Dream Martin or something like that. But
Pluto won't happen. It's not a real planet.
It's not a real planet.
And anyway, farming and science, folks. That's what we got today.
You hate to see it. MP Dyson says Lee Merriweather and Julie could share the same body. They could include both heads. Eartha Kitt is shorter and a different skin tone, of course. X-Men Supreme says, I grew up with the Adam West in syndication. Was the only reason Mom would let me stay up past bedtime. He's the reason I always wear my seatbelt. Hey, that's a damn good reason. If Batman wears a seatbelt, you should definitely wear a seatbelt, let's be honest. I think this will be interesting to see. I'm just excited about the future of Mars Toys. While I don't want them to get licensed because I don't want their prices to go up, I feel like they are consistently proving that they deserve a license of some of these lines moving forward. So we'll see.
That's a neat topic all within itself. Would we want Mars Toys or like So-So Toys to actually get licensed? Would people want that?
Yeah, I mean, chat, tell us. Absolutely, Austin. It's a great question because, as I said, for me, I don't really care what the name of the figure is on the box, as long as the figure looks like the figure I want or the character I'm looking for.
See, I'm in that same boat, and there's a lot of people who they won't buy a third party figure because it's not licensed. Which for me, I could care less as long as it fits my collection and my idea of that character. I'll buy it. But for Mars Toys and So, that 180, that 200, 210 mark, man, it's hard to beat the quality with the price on these.
Absolutely. And I mean, Dean, I know you're not somebody who's shy against getting a third-party figure in, especially if you like it. What are your thoughts there? Like, would you rather them be licensed but have to then pay more, or do you not give a shit as long as it's the right character?
Bro, white knighting for fucking Disney or whoever, they're not fucking paying your bills. You are.
Good call.
I don't care who makes the figure, man. Obviously, the cheaper the better. Usually, obviously, you want good quality. So, these companies have, kind of showed that they're willing to step up to the plate. And yeah, you could say it's a little shady, but I mean, they're making figures people want. The licensed companies aren't making them. So, I mean,
snooze, you lose.
Yeah.
Literally.
Sorry, Ben. Are they implying that they're doing 3 different Catwomans? So is this one fight for another? Is the third Zoe Kravitz?
No, I hope not. No, I don't think that. I shouldn't say I hope not. There's 3 versions in the 66 series, but
which I never knew that.
They've only teased this one so far from the 66. We haven't seen
Eartha Kitt,
the
then
other 2.
the second one, then there's another one.
And then there's the other one, which was what did they say here? Lee Merriweather, which I'm not as familiar with her, honestly.
Yeah, but they did say they'd be doing a Pfeiffer, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for the Returns version, obviously. So, which I'm extremely excited about.
And Mr. Freeze with Arnold.
Hey, I think it's going to be Mr. Freeze in his bathrobe, though. From that head
sculpt, going to be in a bathrobe.
I think he's going to be in his bathrobe.
So, from what I heard, we're going to get both iterations.
That'd be okay.
Which I am all for.
But then it has to be, in my opinion, a USB power, because can you imagine the batteries having to try and light that suit? Like, it is lit all the way down. It would have to be USB power, and I don't think I've seen a Mars Toys release with USB yet, so hard to say. But I agree, that would be a badass figure. Denobi2 is in our chat. His ears must have been burning. You'll love to see it. He says, afternoon, folks. Stay focused. Getting distracted in this market will cost you more in the secondary resale market. You are not wrong, but even still, sometimes I purposely try to distract myself so I don't absolutely shred my wallet week over week, because there are so many things that I want at the moment. And Denobi, if you missed some of our Star Trek chat, buddy, go back. We got to get you on a Let's Get Nuts show here at some point to discuss some of those Exo 6 hiccups or ups and downs in figure quality. So, with that said, let's move on to the next one here, guys. So this popped up, of course, on everybody's Facebook this week, and it's been a pretty divisive topic. And I would say mostly because nobody really knows yet, anyways, whether these are going to be static poses or power poses, or if we're actually going to get 7 different Batman suit figures. Now, I've seen a couple people say out there, well, why would they give us figure stands with the nameplates on them and everything if you're not going to get them individually? Joao Bretta also told me there's no way you could get this without a figure body being inside it. So then it's really like pretty much a whole figure just without a mouthpiece, right? Or like without that head underneath the cowl. But Austin, I want to start with you first, buddy, because I don't think I've heard your thoughts at all yet on this. What do you think of this tease? Do you think this is even actually a reality, or are they just like throwing a fishing lure out there and, totally screwing with us collectors? What do you think we'll get?
The funny thing is, like, no one knows for sure, right? We've been teased before and things not followed up with, but, for the sake of fans, I hope they come out with these. Mm-hmm. I'm not certain I would pull the trigger on these. Maybe if I watched the movie, maybe my perception would be a bit different if I loved the movie. But I cross my fingers. It seems like a lot of people are excited, so I hope they come out with these.
For sure. Do you think they're going to be power pose, or do you think they're going to be individual figures?
So initially, I thought power pose, but I guess you made a pretty good point. If there is a figure in there, to actually like support the body or to support the armor, you just need a faceplate. At that point, then I guess it's pretty much a full figure anyway.
Pretty
but
close.
Initially, I thought power pose, just
sure.
like a statue.
Dean, if this came as only a 7-pack, would this ever be something that you'd be interested in?
No,
Or would you be like, absolutely not? What are your thoughts on this and what we're seeing here?
Yeah, absolutely not. Just on price alone, no way. I don't love Batman that much. I do have a newfound affinity for Keaton Batman, but I don't know any of these suits other than like, you know, the original one. So, yeah, that would be an insane price tag. But yeah,
The
man,
shipping
these are-
alone, can you imagine? I can't even, like the box size, the shipping.
Yeah, I think they need to replace Iron Man, and they already went through all the Spider-Man, so they're gonna need to do all the Batmans.
Interesting.
All the
point.
DC figures we've gotten this year have been Batmans, so I totally see them doing all these.
So Batman's my guy. So and while I agree with you, you know, these suits don't stand out to me necessarily right this second. I think they all look badass. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like, they're really, really cool. But for me to actually commit to buying, whether it's 7 figures individually or a 7-pack, which would be absolutely nuts, I feel like I still have to see the movie. If this comes from a scene where I'm like, that is one of the coolest scenes in cinema history, if it becomes a scene that we talk about for the next 30 years, like I've heard Shane say in the past, I could see myself getting even more on board with it. But Pete, I guess the question for you would be, good sir, because I know you're pretty strategic about your collection. Would you want something like this to be given to us individually, or would you actually rather a well-priced 7-pack? What do you think?
Don't really care. Not really. Not really.
Love it.
Not really.
Our British correspondent tells us how he really feels. Yeah.
Yeah. It's too much. It's overkill. I quite like the one on the right. I like the armor and the neck piece. It looks very much like the armored suit from the Dark Knight Returns comic. Obviously, we've got the 89 and the Returns in the back there, both iconic, brilliant. We've had those. We're getting 89 again. The what is supposedly an underwater one but has wings looks really weird. I'm not quite sure people would buy that, but
I thought it might be like a high altitude suit actually, as
that's
opposed
what
to.
I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's a good
Makes
thought. I
sense.
immediately thought like an underwater one.
Same
No, I was-
initially, but
and like the one on the left, sort of like a year one kind of, or year. What's the one with something 0 where he didn't have.
No,
But
it's year one.
I
Yeah.
like the one on the left. I don't know why.
The
it
one on the
just stayed
left
out for me.
isn't that from like the Flashpoint? Thomas Wayne, no?
Without the colors, with the different color scheme. But yeah, the holsters for the pistols.
for
Kind of
sure.
similar.
I think the one with the wings is my least favorite, mostly because of how much extra space it would take up in the collection, especially if you had 7 suits all lined up with each other.
I think, as you say, it very much depends on what the movie's like. The movie's got to be an absolute banger for people to want to commit financially to, and
For sure.
we won't. I assume we won't see him wearing these suits. They're just going to be in the background. So I don't really see how it's going to be something that will like really inspire you to want to own them all. But
For sure.
it's cool that I like to see stuff from Hot Toys, and I know that they have a history of showing us stuff they don't bring out, and I fully expect them not to bring all these out, but it's cool to see them.
I'm in the opposite boat to you though, Pete. Honestly, I would think that because they've put this much work in already, why
Yeah.
wouldn't they? I mean, it's like I can hear people already saying, but what about the N1? Like they brought it to a whole con. Like, why wouldn't they give us that if they put that much work in? But I think there's a very slim margin of folks out there in the collector community that would have actually committed to something as large as an N1, whereas figures are much easier nuts to swallow. Let's be honest, Pete. Shane. Do you think that this is a real release, or is this an absolute fishing line tease from Hot Toys? What are your thoughts?
Vulture N1 2022 Batmobile. Who knows? I just don't know. It's not for me. The only suit here that I've an interest in is 89. I just want to actually address something that Dean said. It was actually Dean that made the point about I think he was on a show and people were asking him, so 89 or modern suit? He was kind of saying, well, people are still talking about this 89, like 30 years later. Will they still be talking about The Flash 30 years later? Like, unless it's just an amazing movie, or maybe the kids these days grow up. That was his point, and I piggybacked off it. But it's it's kind of same thing comes back to everyone. It depends on the movie. Like right now, I'm thinking the 89, that's locked down. The Batmobile, that's locked down. Happy Days, that's the one that means something to me, and I can pass on the rest of these. I think I might actually get through this movie without buying anything from it. Now,
Crazy.
as Mario would say, I reserve the right to change your mind. I go see this and it's amazing, and maybe there's a scene where they go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different multiverses, and all these people come together, and this is just them lining up before the end battle, and they're all different versions of Batman, and we get to see all these suits in action, and it's absolutely amazing. Then I'd be thinking, oh no, that changes everything. Like, do you know what I mean? If it's not just a shot of him getting ready and the 6 of them in the background, do you know what I mean? And that's assuming that there's a lot of ifs there, though. If the movie has to be really good, if these are actually going to get screen time, if they're going to make them all. But yeah, I'll take it one day at a time when it comes to this, I think.
I could see it just being like a panning across scene where it's like you get kind of the feel of the history of the Keaton Batman, right? Like what he's developed over the years, just like his original army in the or armory, I should say, in that 89 scene. We have 30 plus people in the chat. If you guys don't mind, hit the like button if you've forgotten to do so. I am terrible with hitting the like button, so I always appreciate it if you guys remember. Sorry, Austin, you were going to say one thing?
So when I see this, I kind of immediately think of Spider-Man, the first animated one with Miles Morales. I kind of think of like the hollow armor that they go down into the shed, and Peter Parker had all of his old suits for different missions and different variants of it. That's what I kind of think like that's gonna happen with this. We're gonna go in the Batcave, and we're just gonna have a wall of suits lined up.
For sure.
But what Shane said sounds a lot cooler though.
It does. One of you guys mentioned, like, I think it was Dean, like, this is just kind of the next Iron Man. I mean, Batman and all the Spider-Verse suits, as well as potentially the PS5 Spider-Man 2 game amount of spider suits that are coming in the next little while, I think will replace that. I think it'll replace people's collections to a certain extent between the three franchises. I think it could be pretty crazy. So the only suit here that stands out to me most, I think, is that blue and gray one. Now, I noticed somebody said that they didn't like the square abs on it, but I like the yellow belt. I really like the color of the blue cowl. It reminds me of the Nightfall comic book series that I read, that I absolutely love. If you guys have an opportunity to read it, I would recommend it. It's the story of Bane breaking Batman's back, and then like how he not only recovers from that injury, but Azrael takes over the mantle of the Bat and goes absolutely crazy, and needs to be dethroned as the Bat as a result. And it's that you can get them in volume books, and they're phenomenal. But the blue and gray suit to me is very, very iconic, because I wanted to mention that to you guys because of this. This blue and gray suit came up on our feeds this week as well, and has been extremely divisive. In fact, I made a video on it as a first reaction to this, because I honestly laughed out loud when I saw how much, to me, this does not look like Affleck. Now, it's a pretty divisive topic. I've talked a little bit about this with you guys. I know a lot of you guys have had some different takes on different channels, so I want to position it a little bit differently. Dean, for this figure alone, as a Batman collector, not necessarily yourself, but for folks watching who are Batman collectors, despite some of the negativity around this figure of it not necessarily looking like Ben Affleck, do you still think that this is going to be one of those figures that people should consider having for their collection because it's another Batman? What are your thoughts?
I don't know, because it's Batman enough that it's like, yeah, that's obviously Batman. A lot of people have been waiting for a blue and gray Batman, and here it is. It's got that weird kind of like techie suit that we saw in what movie was that? I don't even remember what fucking movie it was, but
BVS,
yeah, or like the tactical style suit, you mean?
Yeah, the tactical one. Was that anyway?
Batman versus Superman, I think, would have been, because he had the armored suit as well, but
yeah.
No, I think the tactical suit was the Snyderverse cut or whatever.
Yeah, the armored one was back.
But yeah, I don't know. It's such a weird figure that the fact that it's clearly not Ben Affleck is like, why bother? You know what I mean? I guess if you just wanted a cool looking Batman on your shelf, it's fine, but that's not why I buy Hot Toys, you know? And, you know, just based on what we saw in the trailer, this scene is going to kick ass. Like, it's going to be doing some cool shit. So it's like, you would kind of want that figure, but, I mean, who is this?
Who is this?
That's not Ben Affleck.
That's right. Joker J says here, Ben. Joker J says, Ben, I watched your video 7 times. The disgust and shock you had for this figure had me in tears. Hopefully they were laughing tears, not crying tears, because I did have a really hard time holding back how I actually felt.
Yeah, it's just, it's weird. I don't like it. The more I see it, the more I don't like it. Which is a shame, because it looks like it could get into some decent poses. It looks like it'd be a cool tactical fighting Batman, but I don't know who that's supposed to be.
Again, I keep seeing these types of poses as like the Batman shitting in the woods pose. Like we saw it with the modern suit last week. I see it here as well. I don't love it. I think he looks oddly like puffy or like chunky. I want to almost say like looks like me stuffed into a Batman suit as opposed to like the ripped Ben Affleck that exists out there. Pete, I don't think I've heard your take on this yet. I don't know if you've had an OFAC on this guy yet. What are your thoughts on this one?
I hate it. I think it's an absolute mess of a figure. Not just the whole Ben Affleck, you know, issue and stuff and the mystery. I just think it's I just don't like the design. I mean, the split breastplates, all the weird hexagonal webbing, beehive type stuff. I just really don't like it, and I don't like the way that the cowl just cuts straight off with the cape as well. I would probably want to own any other Batman figure before this one.
So it's less for you about the likeness. It has more to do with the fact you just don't love this suit specifically.
I mean, that's just bizarre to me anyway, and I don't know. I can't wait to find out what's going on there. But yeah, I mean, I just really don't like the suit, to be honest. There's so many iconic Batman suits out there, and you know, this isn't one of them for me anyway. You know, yeah.
That's fair. Shane, does this look like a box of busted biscuits to you, or would you say that this is truly your Batman in your collection going forward? What would you say?
Oh, Jesus. Where do you start? I really like the bike. Like, I really like the bike. And I only watched the trailer, I think, once, but I remember thinking, oh, that bike's cool. And the grey and blue, that's cool. But this doesn't really look like the same blue. This looks like really dark. I don't know. It doesn't actually look like... Okay, I know it doesn't look like Ben Affleck or whatever, but and allegedly it is supposed to look like him. People who saw it confirmed, yeah, it is supposed to be Ben Affleck, but no. Just no.
Yeah, Jose G. Hernandez keeps telling me to take my tinfoil hat off, that it is, in fact, Ben Affleck. And I'm like, okay.
Now, on the off chance that Jose G. Hernandez has seen the movie and this is supposed to look like other sort of random guy and they've actually nailed his head sculpt and he just doesn't want to spoil the movie for us, what a hero. But like, I don't think that's the case. Like, I think he's just seen the movie and he's like, yeah, it's supposed to be Ben Affleck, so yeah.
That's fair. If Ben Affleck gained some weight and got some chin filler, I could actually maybe see it a little bit more, especially in this one here in the, I think it's the middle. Oh no, not the middle. It's the one I think on the right side that I think it still just looks freaking weird to me. I don't know.
Do you know what, Ben? I'll give you a different way of looking at this, right? A few weeks ago, okay, actually no, it's not a few weeks ago. Every few weeks we have an Iron Man released. Let's say the D100 Iron Man. Off the top of my head, I could name probably about 10 Ironmans that I don't have, that I'm not going to order, that I'd rather have than that D800. Here, I could probably name half a dozen Batman that I prefer to have than this, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, some of these, honestly.
66, 89, 92. That Nightmare Batman's pretty cool as well, you know, so it's...
For sure. For sure. Austin, what about yourself, sir? Because I feel like you're a wild card. I feel like I asked Austin the other day what he does for a living, because like, could I do the same job? Because his collection is just so badass. So give me a reference, please. But I don't know what you like to collect. Good search, teasing you. Is this something that like when you saw it, you laughed and you're kind of like, what the hell is that? Or you're like, oh, that's cool. That it's another Batman. I'm stoked about that. What are your thoughts?
So I'll tell you this: I'm never really disappointed with some things. Like with this, I immediately saw it. I mean, I didn't notice the sculpt at first, but I just saw the suit and I was like, this doesn't do anything for me at all. Then, you know, some people mentioned the sculpt isn't Ben Affleck, and then I was like, oh, you know what? I see that. That's absolutely. I don't see Ben Affleck at all now. But the suit does nothing for me. I look at it as, and some of you have mentioned it, I'd rather pull the trigger on the Pattinson Batman versus this. I'd rather
That's fair.
finally get a Batman Begins Batman versus this. Unless I see the movie and for whatever reason the movie in this figure makes sense and it's a standout thing, sure,
That's fair.
maybe. But no. I have no interest.
X-Men Supreme here says, frickin' Meatloaf Batman. I would do anything for justice. I can see it. I love to see it. What do you guys think about the Bat Bike then? So the Bat Cycle, I should say.
Have you got the slide with the movable flap?
The movable
That might be-
flap. Let's see here.
Posable flaps on movable.
These ones?
Articulated flaps. There we go.
The articulated flap.
Tell me there's a man on this panel that doesn't enjoy articulated flaps.
Oh my god. Again, that's the After Dark section of Net. Let's get nuts.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anybody on the panel here thinking about at least the Bat Bike? Because I've seen people say even the tactical suit, if they have that reissued version or the original version, that could look pretty cool on this Bat Bike or cycle, Bat Cycle. What do you guys think?
You know, I may be in the minority on this one. I think Pattinson's is cooler.
Yeah,
No, I-
that's that point I was
agree.
gonna make. I'd rather just get those
Like,
two.
this one looks fine. For whatever reason, and I haven't really dived into the pictures or whatnot. This, and hopefully I don't get a lot of heat, but like right off the bat, it kind of looks like a McFarlane figure. I know the quality is obviously going to be a lot different, but not a whole lot is kind of a standout thing for me on this. It looks high tech, sure, but Pattinson bike, I'd rather pull the trigger on that one.
Oh man, I think this is an absolute weapon of a thing. I just think this is awesome. I would love to own this in real life and drive to school in it. But like, look at the size of it. Like, it's science fiction, Batman. It's
That's fair.
like something that a Tron meets. It wouldn't look out of place on like Edge of Tomorrow or
Tron
Blade Runner 2049
yeah.
or something. I think this is legit cool, but I can't. I'm gonna be like Joe out here. I can't get this and put the DX19 in it or the '89 Batman or something. It just wouldn't work. Like, you might get away with putting a Ben Affleck Batman on it, but I think this looks really cool.
The cool thing about the bike too, I mean, if you have any of the other vehicles, I mean, this would look cool lined up with any other big scale Batman vehicle that you have. And I don't remember the price point, but do any of you? Has to be like 250.
450,
Yeah,
410 or
good.
something.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know.
ridiculous.
Crazy.
Yes.
I don't know about
Crazy.
that now.
X-Men Supreme here says, I like the bike, but it looks like a generic future bike. Kind of like you're saying. It definitely that
Yeah.
future aspect.
There's no standout.
It doesn't say Bat Cycle. It also, can someone tell me why you would want a thruster between your legs melting your rear tire? You're not wrong. I didn't notice that until now, and that is very fair. I think the bike is the coolest part of this release. I do agree with you, Shane. I think you could fit it in. Even if you had like a Blade Runner 2099 Ryan Gosling figure with this, it could look cool. Or like, I don't know, something like just futuristic, even like you said, kind of a hybrid of the Tron film. But to me, a vehicle, whether it's a bike or a car, is a lot to commit to. So unless it's like a part of the movie where I'm like, that is the coolest scene of the movie, I don't think I could. What are your thoughts?
Ben,
Shane, yeah.
if this movie is awesome and Old Man Keaton sits his ass on this for 1 minute, I will get these.
That does
That's
change things. That
I'm gonna let's hold Shane to that. Everybody in the chat. There's
Just-
33 people watching. We've
Okay.
seen it live.
Number one, the movie has to be a banger, in my opinion.
Okay.
Number two, Old Man Keaton has to sit his ass on this. Okay.
Okay.
Then we might be in business then.
Also, there's no way this could fit in a DTOF, right?
It's hard to say.
I'm
Because
gonna have to
your
move out of my
Batpod,
house.
does your Batpod fit in a DTOF there, Shane?
No, but I've got the I've got like a kind of a cabinet here to my left here. It's behind the door where I use for like graphic novels and stuff. And on top of it, it's just like the perfect size for the Batpod. So that's where the Batpod sits. It's blank at the moment because DX19's up there with Joker. But I think Selena Kyle may go on the Batpod.
That is fair. Guys, let's move on to this one. Now, Dean, you have some spicy thoughts when it comes to Gandalf. And of course, you guys over at Collecting Weekly, you, Zach, and the team there, have gone into it with Inart to make sure that this Gandalf is about as close to being as realistic as possible, I want to say. So I want to hear from you on this one first. Now that we've seen some actual kind of solicitation of what the factory production progress looks like, how are you feeling about this?
Yeah, I had some concerns. Do you have the shot with like all the bodies laid down on the table?
It's super creepy when you think about it. Yeah, this one?
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
And I know they're laying down, so let me just preface this with some proper futzing. Maybe this will be okay. But the robe is not coming down far enough, which you could see the pants, and now the pants are missing the print on them. When they were like, well, you're never going to see it, so we're not going to do it. But I could see his pants here. And even if you put the boots on, that robe's not... You could, like, barely see Gandalf's toes when he's standing up. So, unless, again, that once you get everything on it and you futz it properly and it looks okay, it's just a little concerning.
That's for sure. I know you had said that the Asmus one still had the prints even on.
Yeah, the
their
Asmus
pants,
one has
right?
the prints for what, half the cost? And it's like we're paying for the accuracy and we're not even getting the full accuracy. Now, the head sculpt, I mean, night and day. No one's touching this head sculpt. This head sculpt is amazing. Right, let's not lost on me. The rooting looks fantastic. The beard is a little short, but not by much. It's fine. But I don't hate what I'm seeing. I like it, but to just say that it's perfect is not true. So
that's fair. And I mean, I haven't seen many people say that it's perfect, I guess, per se. Joker J says here, see his pants, nerd alert. Dean, the answer is it's great. But again, when it comes to the cost, I think you mentioned, that is a big factor when it comes to this release. I think it's important for people to recognize that Inart has said right from the get-go that they intend to be as screen accurate as humanly possible. And for something like missing, like, print on pants, it doesn't feel like they're necessarily going out of their way. They're like, if you can't normally see it, we're just not going to include it, but we're still going to charge you those high dollars. Do I think this is the best Gandalf that exists in 1/6 scale? 100%. I don't think there's any argument about that at this point. But what Dean is saying here is that he expects more than it's great. He expects for that price that is going to be as close to perfect as it can get. And don't let me put words in your mouth either, Dean, if that's not the case.
no, I mean, yeah, pretty spot on.
Yeah. Pete, what are your thoughts on this now that we've had a chance to see some production progress of this? I can't even remember, are you much of a Lord of the Rings fan?
Huge.
Yeah, okay.
Huge.
You're waiting for that. You're waiting for that collection video because you'll see there.
I am.
Yeah, I've got this ordered. I'm really excited about it. I think for me, I was a bit skeptical about the Inart thing, but obviously the the fairly universal praise for the Joker was what I was waiting for. So when I ordered Aragorn 1/6 kit, put up the pre-order for Gandalf again, so I jumped on it. Really excited to get this. Can't wait. I think, in my view, there is no such thing as a perfect figure. Now, I understand that they shouldn't be missing off things that are fairly obvious. I mean, I'm not going to lose any sleep over the pants, but I agree in principle that they should be correct. But for me, it's all of it. I've got the Asmus Hobbit one, and I put a custom head sculpt on. So for me, it is all about that head sculpt, because Asmus have done the rest of it fantastically, you know. So it's all about the head sculpt, and I think that the thing that's great is that you know, these are production ones. There's a video, and they've got, you know, 40 heads there, and they're picking them and they're showing you different ones each time. So it's not just this one perfect head that they've spent days on. They're production ones. They're ones that presumably that are going to ship out to people.
That's a good point.
And they're saying, look, this is the same. This is the same. So, you know, I've got confidence that we're all going to get something that looks incredible. So I'm really excited. And Kit was saying possibly next month or two this will be coming out. So
cool. You made a really good point in there, Pete, just with showing some consistency between the sculpts. Now, I mean, if there's 5,000 of these ordered, or however many is ordered, that kind of consistency can be pretty challenging. But I do like to see more than one, because even one of the guys that I've streamed with in the past, Kiko Collects, he streams typically with Will on Fridays. He just got his Inart Joker in hand recently, and was really unhappy with how much he had to futz the hair. I guess it came like oddly frizzy and like really poofed out, and just not to him what had been solicited, basically. And that could have been a number of factors. Got jostled in the box, maybe some humidity got in there, like who knows. But you know, for him, that's created this division of feelings inside of him, it seems like, because it's like, while I was really excited, that's kind of diminished that excitement for me now, because now I have this $1,000 set of figures that I have to, you know, put gel in the hair and stuff like that. I think for the most part, though, most collectors recognize too, and probably even Kiko, that obviously when it comes to 6-scale rooted hair, there's always going to be a level of futzing. I don't think that's an argument, but when you have to get to the point where it's like it doesn't look like at all what you should get in the box, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
Shane, for you, I don't know if you're a Lord of the Rings fan. For me, my wallet is relatively safe when it comes to this lineup. But what are your thoughts, either just on the character, or have you considered getting this now that you're seeing more of the production from this line?
No, I'm a fair weather Lord of the Rings fan. I love the trilogy. It's great. I haven't read the books. I don't speak any dialects of Elvish, and I'm not a die-hard fan. There's no other way of saying it. Like, so no, I was never going to get this, but I do think it looks excellent, and I do think they're on the track for 2 for 2.
For sure. Pete, do you remember what the price was on this one? I forget. Casual Nerd Problems is asking.
Yeah, it was. I think for me it's about $370, so maybe $450 to $500.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because I know for me, I think it was going to be about 600 Canadian by the time I got it in. Mm-hmm. So, Austin, have you ordered any of these so far? Either the Aragorn or the Gandalf?
No. So for Lord of the Rings, I'm pretty much just a casual fan. Watch the movies. I don't have enough love there to warrant getting any of it for my collection, especially for Inart prices right now. Same thing with the Harry Potter. You know, when that one first came out, I was like, hell yes, I absolutely love this. Because the only thing I have for Harry Potter in my collection is the Star Ace Voldemort, and only because, you know, I got him for $160. I was like, yeah, this is good enough to warrant like my satisfaction with the quality for the price I paid. Didn't really deem it for Harry Potter. That was a steep one. So for me on this Gandalf, I'm a pass. But even just being a casual fan, the sculpt's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. The rooting just in general is insane. And I've heard people say, you know, like the amount of rooting that goes into it. It's not just like a hairpiece that they've glued to the top of a sculpt. Like, it actually has been rooted, which takes a lot of time, obviously, to do. It's very labor intensive. I can't even imagine having to do that for however many end up getting ordered. Like, can you imagine? Casual New Problem says here, it's definitely a learning curve with these from Inart. Quality is there, but the maintenance for them, I hope Inart helps with sooner than later. And I know that they did give us a little bit of a solicitation. I think not solicitation, but like a kind of a how to help style your Joker hair and how to get the neck head or the head piece in around the collar and some of that stuff. But I agree. I do think that the higher the quality, the more production value should go into it for, you know, help stages for collectors. And they've started that. I think they're showing us more here than they really ever did with some of the previous.
I'm just holding mine now, and I probably don't do this enough, like, but like, you're right, like, it's just like, I don't know, I don't even know, I'd have the words to describe how talented the people are to put these things together, like, it's just, even, I've never had any problem with the pushing, the bushiness that people are describing. It's kind of like, and mine arrived not connected to the bottom of the tubes.
It had fallen in your tube,
bouncing
right?
around there. Like, this guy's got a little nick in his nose, and this head sculpt's the same as the other head sculpt. But I mean, Line Rock are sorting it, but I hope other collectors are as fortunate. Well, I hope they're just as fortunate in the sense that hopefully they don't get 2 copies of the same sculpt, or that their things aren't bouncing around the place. But it doesn't take away my admiration for him. I mean, hopefully Line Rock swapped that out. And yeah, but I just think that it's, I don't look at that close up as much as I should, considering like the amount they paid for it. But I still think that's a bloody home run, despite the issues they've had, like, you know.
And it's their first 6-scale venture figure, right? I mean, like, they've obviously done, Queen Studios has done statues for a pretty long time, but this is their first 1/6 scale. Like, we figured that there'd be some level of learning curve in there, both with how the figure is packaged, how we're charged for it, all of the things, but also what we can expect from routing and instructional videos and stuff like that. I think that they're hopefully listening, I think, to more of these streams than we even realize. But we have almost 35 people in the chat. We've got one more topic I want to jump into before the end of the stream. Again, if you're just joining in now, if you don't mind hitting the like, that's definitely appreciated here over on Let's Get Nuts. It helps us drive some traffic to the channel on the replay. For everybody listening, though, and listening in on replay, leave me some comments down below. Are you guys picking up the Lord of the Rings line? Are you guys going full nuts deep into this bad boy, or are you holding off for other options, other releases, the Harry Potter line like Austin mentioned to us? I'd be curious to know how many people are truly in on the Lord of the Rings line at this point. Pete, I want to talk to you about this one first on this next one, because Dean, I like your spicy takes. I'm going to leave you for later. We've got this finally released from Hot Toys. We're looking at the newest Bespin Luke Skywalker, of course, from a very iconic scene, I would say, overall in the Star Wars universe, right?
No. I am your father.
That's impossible!
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
I had to add that in there. I hope I didn't blow the speakers off of everybody.
Spoiler warning. Where's the spoiler warning?
That's
Come
right.
on.
No doubt. I had to cut half of that clip out because I couldn't add it anything longer than 14 seconds without demonetization. You hate to see it. Pete, what are your thoughts on this Bespin Luke? First of all, is this something that you are excited about, or what?
Okay. First of all, yeah, it's absolutely iconic, and I think any 1/6 scale Star Wars collection needs this representation of Luke, without a doubt. You know, it's the iconic battle with Vader when he gets his ass kicked. Oh, what was that? I've got the clean DX07 version with a custom Inigo Gill sculpt on, so I'm pretty happy with that. And I've read a lot. I've watched a lot of videos with people comparing the two and saying that kind of the tailoring is better on this because it's just, you know, we're 10 years on, stuff like that with technology and everything, but the fit is a little bit it's a little bit tight. Like there's like the pants, trousers are a little bit tight, whereas they should be a bit baggier. I do like the sculpt. I really like this. If it's the same one as I don't know if it's the same as the Snowspeeder one, I guess.
I think so.
But
yeah.
it's got the, because it's not the same as the deep fake Luke, which the sculpt on that is really good as well. I'd be tempted to get this to get hold of the sculpt, but I think the rest of the stuff, I think if you've got the DX07, either version, I don't think it's probably worth the upgrade. I'm not a fan of the messed up wet hair. I think the other hairpiece looks really good. I think the other one, takes away from the lightness a bit. I like the base. It's like very much like the Boba Fett one from the Sideshow figure a few years ago. It lights up and everything. Obviously, this guy is one of the last few that isn't going to have the USB light up saber, and I am interested to see, how those sabers fare. I mean, they're not going to be anywhere as bright as a CCFL. Nothing is.
Definitely not.
I mean, that's surface of the sun bright, but it'd be interesting to see if they're any good, if they can actually light to the end of the blade kind of thing. I don't know. I've gone backwards and forwards on this one because I kind of think like maybe I'll pick it up and I'll cherry pick the best bits. But I think if you've got the DX07, either version or both, don't bother. But if you haven't, then you got to have this guy. It's a great look.
For sure. Shane, do you think there's still a chance that we'll see a Bespin Han at this point? Or do you think that they've given us their Bespin Luke and called it a day on this?
No, I don't think the Bespin Han's coming.
No.
No, I think I've given up hope.
That's fair. Do you like this?
Built on hope.
Do you like this specific release, or are you kind of lukewarm?
Yeah, this is on the way.
Just ordered it.
Hey,
This is on the way, man.
very nice.
Yeah, look, it's original trilogy. It's Empire Strikes
nice.
Back. It's my favorite Star Wars movie, and I love this scene. This is one of my favorite lightsaber battles. I know it doesn't have the choreography or the excitement, the quick movement and athleticism of say episode 1, the Duel of Fates, which is amazing whether you like episode 1 or not, but I really love this scene. The slow tension, the setup, just even the lighting in the background and the kind of use of dry ice and all that kind of stuff. And so I don't have the DX07, so this is 100% coming home. I went for the regular because I think the Dagobah base looks cheap, and even though the Vader, the broken mask with the Luke head sculpt inside it, is a really, really cool accessory.
It scared me as a kid. That creeped me right out as a kid.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. I'm gonna save the $60. So yeah, this is on. I love the way it's a light up USB powered base. I think it's a very, very cool base. This is a base I'll actually use. But criticisms.
It's not too big. It's not take up too much space. So.
Yeah, and it's environmental. It's not just here's a square, here's a an unnecessarily big diamond, or just a generic, I don't know, hexagon or something. It tells a story, part of the scene. The fact that it's USB light up is very cool as well. I think this paired with a CCFL will look beautiful. I agree with Pete. The wet head sculpt completely takes it out of me. I'll be using this head sculpt here, or the hair sculpt, and it's too clean. The head sculpt might be better on this one, but the weathered look of the DX07, I'm not even talking about the battle damage one, just the regular one, does look more accurate. So I'm still very excited about this. People were crying out for Bespin Luke again, and here it is.
Definitely. Austin, I haven't heard your take at all on this yet, and then we'll get to Dean after at the end. Save the best for last, of course. What are your thoughts? No offense to the rest of my panelists, by the way, but I just love Dean. It was one of those things. Austin, what are your thoughts on this, buddy?
No, it's a great figure. I know a lot of people are happy. So, being a collector, I like seeing people get what they wanted. For me, though, I would rather pull the trigger on the Mandalorian Luke, which I just still haven't. Not for any reason, I just haven't yet. But I'd rather go with a Jedi Luke. Granted, this is an amazing scene, pivotal moment, and I know people wanted this, but no, I'd rather have a Jedi Luke.
That's fair. No, I mean, I can appreciate that. I feel when I saw this come up, and I wonder if Dean will agree with me here, that this doesn't, to me, scream that iconic scene. This picture that I shared here at the end is what I think of when I think of the Bespin Luke scene, which is a battle-damaged, handless version of Luke freaking out on the thing right before he tosses himself down that hole. while I think it's a cool looking figure as like an objectively as a figure, it to me is just way too clean. Just in general, I mean, it's like you just got out of the dry cleaner clean. The original was at the DX07 release. You could take his jacket off. Luke also was a pretty thin man at the time. He looks really stuffed into this outfit for whatever reason.
He's gonna have a stupid fat suit on.
He's gonna have like a, his moose knuckles gonna be tucked up against the front of those pants. You hate to see it. Dean, I want to hear what you have to say about this, good sir. Tell me, just let loose. You tell me how you feel, bud.
Yeah, this especially because it comes with the Dagobah base. I don't know why it's marketed as Bespin Luke, because like you said, like he's beat up, he's missing a hand. They gave you the sweaty hair, right? But didn't give you an additional sculpt with blood. The DX07, obviously that's 2 whole figures. Comes with both looks. I mean, shit, even a swap out jacket with an alternate head sculpt would have been acceptable if you're going Bespin Luke. But yeah, it's like, just do a Dagobah Luke where, he just landed, he bumps into Yoda, there's Yoda, he's pretty clean when he gets to Dagobah, when he changes into this outfit from his X-Wing suit.
Good call. Yeah.
With the little backpack and like a little power pose Yoda, I think that would have been great. But as a Bespin Luke, it falls short in a lot of ways. I think this head sculpt that we're looking at on the right here with the not sweaty hair, I think that's an improvement on the DX07. The outfit is a little tight. It's like he went shopping at Baby Gap instead of regular Space Gap.
Yeah. But has it got a fat suit? Does anyone know that it's got a fat suit on? Because that's an easy fix if it has, and you take that off.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you could take the.
Yeah, it looks like it's stitched closed.
Sewn
Is it
shut.
really? See, that
looks like
sucks.
it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to make that difficult to take that off.
The outfit's definitely a little tight. I mean, even if you look at screenshots from the movie, it's
really
tight.
Baggy on him. Yeah, definitely the pants are.
Yeah, I think the only good thing I could say about this figure is I think it still preserves the people that have the DX07, that it's different and not so good that it's like there's no point in owning the DX07. The DX07 is still such a solid figure. I think you pick this head sculpt up at a Toy Anxiety or whatever, and you have like the ultimate DX07.
Yeah.
But as a standalone figure, I mean, people that don't want to spend the money on the DX07, I think it's okay. I think you'd be happy with it. It's just weird that it's marketed as a Bespin Luke.
Yeah. But you know what's going to happen? For San Diego Comic-Con or something like that, they're going to do this really bad damage.
Oh, 100%. They did it with Return of the Jedi Luke. Yeah. It's like, oh, this one has all the extra shit. It's like, okay. Well,
it's going to be weathered. It's going to be bloody.
It's going to be badass.
On a cool related note that I did finally complete, I bought a Bespin Leia today. The only layer I didn't have for my collection, so I'm really pleased about that.
Nice, man. Congrats. That's awesome. That's a good pickup.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Guys, just need Bespin Han.
Oh, I've got one of them. Yeah.
Oh,
guys, all amazing takes. Thank you for all your takes today. I really appreciate you guys all coming to the live stream. Tonight, like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm going to go see Spider-Verse. When I said that after I see it, I may go buy some figures, I saw at least Shane and Austin nod in agreement, which is a good sign for me. So stay tuned. Maybe next week, that'll give it a good week for people to have seen the film. Let's maybe on the next Let's Get Nuts dive into some spoilery discussion on that film. I think that could be a fun little segment of the show. But Dean, I'm going to start with you, buddy. What do you have coming up on Collecting Weekly or just in life that you're excited about, good sir?
Oh, nothing.
Jesus. Absolutely. Don't clean that gun too hard for me, okay?
Yeah, we should have an unboxing tomorrow. I don't know what we're unboxing. I ran out of figures to unbox.
Hate to see it.
I did just pay for my pile of loot at BBTS while we were on the show. I had like 5 things in there, so that was cool. And then the main show on Tuesday, Wednesday After Dark, Thursday Small Talk. We got a lot of stuff coming up, so tune in.
Cool, man. Check out Dean, of course. He is the co-owner of Collecting Weekly. A lovely dude. Always a good time to chat with him. And always some great points. I know you've been going on Will's show quite a bit on Fridays as well. You were just there last Friday, so if you missed that show for a Will Fox vacation, make sure you guys go and check that out. Sorry, Will, if you're watching. Mr. Pete over at Only Fools and Collecting, or OFAC, which is a podcast component of the Collecting Weekly channel. What do you have coming up, good sir, in either your channel or in life that you're excited about?
I was just thinking, I've got no idea when we're next streaming. Ian keeps cancelling the shows and moving them and stuff like that. I think we're not on this week. We're on next week because we're taking a 3-week break to get back on our correct opposite weeks with Small Talk. So yeah, we'll have quite a lot to talk about. Probably some of the stuff we talked about tonight, because obviously we only do 2 weeks normally, and it'd be 3 weeks. Myself, yeah, looking forward to getting the Bespin layer in. I've always, I kind of slept on it because, you know, it wasn't that iconic to me, that outfit, and obviously the prices went a bit crazy. But I had some PayPal cash, and I just put a post out this morning, and within 10 minutes, one of my top guys that sold me lots of figures said, yeah, I got one. Gave me a price.
Decent.
Said, yeah, that's fine. So,
heck yeah, buddy.
Decent. So, yeah, hopefully Tuesday I'll have that. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
That is awesome. Let's give you a decent here, buddy. 1 second. Mr. Shane from OneSixthFigureFocus, I am so happy you are done school, buddy, because now, if you want, you can certainly join us every Sunday. You're absolutely always welcome here. It's always great and lovely to have you, buddy. What do you got coming up in life that you're excited about, or on the channel that we can look forward to? You're mute, buddy. You're still mute. I can't hear you.
Can I can I just share these 2 thumbnails? If
yes. Oh, yes. Let's do. Let me add that in.
Thanks. Yeah. So I put this up. This video went live maybe about half an hour before we went live. It's basically things that I do to maintain a clean display. There's no tips on actually cleaning glass or little mini hoovers or lint free rollers or anything. It's actually just in terms of presentation and showcasing the figures and giving them space to breathe. Things that I do for my own collection. So yeah, if you're interested in that, especially if you have DTOS and you're curious about lighting, CCFLs, fusion reactors, smart plugs, things like that, yeah, maybe check it out.
That'll help answer my question from earlier. Even like, was there a little bit of that with your USB?
What was your question from earlier again?
Your US, like, how do you plug them all in? Where do you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Some of that?
And then
okay.
if you missed anything, if you just message me and I can actually just show you the cables underneath. I can just give you a run through like that if it doesn't come across. And then tomorrow, yeah, episode 6 of the weekly show that I do on Monday nights, 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and midday West Coast, the Hope Show. We won't be talking about Batman or Bespin Luke or anything that started this week. We're basically, topic tomorrow is hype and anticipation, so figures that were actually pre-orders that we're looking forward to. So I've got a panel of guests, and there's 4 or 5 of us, and we're just basically going to bring 3 or 4 figures each and kind of go, right, these figures are up ready for pre-order, and we're really excited about them. And if anyone wants to come on tomorrow night, just let me know. So thanks very much for having me. Really appreciate it. Great to see everyone again.
Awesome, buddy. No, definitely appreciate you being here. Austin, I didn't know you were going to be able to come today, so I didn't prepare you a slide, unfortunately, for your channel. So tell people where to find you, what's coming up in your life that you're excited about, good sir.
Yeah. I'll make this fast because I know you got to go. But I have a few different videos that'll be coming out over the next couple of weeks on my YouTube channel, Austin_Nicholas_. And then on Instagram, same handle. I have a lot of boxes I'm going to need to unbox rather quickly because I have more coming in relatively soon. I think right now it's like in the 30s, like 32, 34 figures. I need
To unbox?
Yeah. It's
Holy
all
crap.
it's all just a mountain of them over here. But
That's awesome, buddy.
the big delay is just I finally got the room all in order, so everything's all situated, wires hidden pretty well, entertainment center mounted, wires hidden, all shelves put up. So yeah, there'll be a good tour coming soon, hopefully.
Whenever you receive a new package and like your girlfriend says like, where are you going to put that? Do you normally say this?
I also like to live dangerously.
That's exactly what I say. Yeah.
Pretty much, I figured so, yeah. 100%. That's awesome. Austin, thanks for joining, buddy. You are, of course, again, just like the rest of you, always welcome here on Let's Get Nuts. Hopefully we can get a few more panelists next time as well. I know I want to get Calvin back on here. I got to hit up Layal. I know he's been saying a couple times that he wants to join. He always has Collectors Lounge International before me on Sundays, but he's a lovely guy, and we want to get him in here as well. Anthony over at Six Scale Mafia has also expressed some interest in joining at some point because he and I are, of course, big Star Trek nerds, so you may see him on the channel here at some point as well. Also, if you missed Anthony's, just a quick plug to him, if you missed one of his last shows, and I can't remember what the show was called, I think it might have been Tales of the Dark Side potentially, but he had Todd Stashwick on from Picard season 3, who is the captain of the Titan on his show last week, and in that show we got a chance to see the Todd Stashwick figure, basically a rendering that Exo6 is making of his captain form, and Todd was very excited to see it. It was awesome to see a live reaction of an actor getting to see his figure for the first time. So I totally recommend going back and checking that out if you guys get a chance. In terms of my channel here at the Ben Thomas Show, like I mentioned at the beginning, I got the Neo in hand this week. I did a birthday live stream where I unboxed him and people got to see kind of my first reaction to it, but I'm going to do an actual live unboxing with a little higher quality of video so you guys can see what that figure looks like if you are interested and get my thoughts there as well. Then next Sunday we'll of course be back for another Let's Get Nuts episode with some of the boys here potentially, and possibly some other guests as well as you can always find me over on Collecting Weekly every Tuesday night for the live show. Always a good time with those guys. We still have 27 people here in the chat. All I can say is thank you guys for tuning in week over week. We appreciate you. It makes it more fun when you guys are here every week and we can have great discussions. For everybody who missed the live show but you're catching it on replay, I definitely just say leave me some comments. Let me know what your thoughts were of the show or of some of the topics that we discussed. I'd also love to hear from you guys in the future. If you guys want me to talk about certain things or us as a panel to talk about certain topics, always an open door. I think that's part of the fun. But with that said, guys, I don't know about you on the panel, but I feel like we got nuts. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching, everybody.
I'll be back.